So this is work actually done by two of my students, Roei Kisous and Ariel Kolikant. Both of them, unfortunately, in the last minute could not make it, so thank God for three-way replication. This is also joint work with my colleagues Abhinav from DELL and Sarai from Braude. So we already know what deduplication is. Let's talk about file migration. The context is a distributed system where we have separate logical volumes. You can think of each of the volumes as an independent subsystem where we have the files, all their metadata, and also their data in blocks. So when we want to move a file from one such volume to another, we have to make sure that all of its blocks are removed from the original volume and transferred to the target volume. Now, this happens in various system maintenance jobs like recovery and resizing, load balancing, adding or removing volumes, etc. So, of course, the problem becomes much more complicated when we have deduplicated data, because now a block can belong to more than one file. So if we look at the same example as we did before, when we try to move file number 2 from volume 2 to volume 1, now different things happen to the blocks. So the first block is deleted from the original volume because we already have a copy on the target volume. The second block is just transferred. And the third block has to be replicated because we need a copy in the target volume, but we also need a copy to remain on the source volume because it belongs to another file. So depending on which files we move and to which volumes, the size of the system can change. It can grow or it can shrink if we do it right. So our goal is to come up with a good migration plan, which is just a list of files and the volumes that they have to be transferred to. And what makes a good migration plan? We want to minimize the system size or keep the deduplication as effective as possible. We want to minimize the traffic because we don't want to end up having to move all the files around from all their volumes to new volumes. And we also have to maintain the system as balanced. Now, the third goal is very important because if we don't add it, then we might find ourselves trying to move all the files to a single volume. This would make the deduplication most effective, and we'll have only one copy of each of the block, but it will defeat the entire purpose of having a distributed system. So just as I explained, these are conflicting goals. We can't really have all of them. And the way we go about it in our study is we keep the system size as our main goal, and we refer to the second two as secondary goals and sometimes even as constraints. I'll tell you all about it in a minute. So in this study, we present three approaches. I'll explain them soon, but basically we start from a very simple greedy heuristic to a more complicated clustering approach, and then to the full-scale integer linear programming approach. They're listed here in order of complexity. And the question we're interested in is whether the increased complexity guarantees a better migration plan, a better solution. So let's start. Like I said, the first heuristic is a greedy simple one. Basically, we have iterations. In each step, we move one file from one volume to another, and we pick the file that contributes the most to the reduction in system size. Now, this is not new. This is taken from an algorithm that was presented here 3 years ago. In a study that system size was their only goal. Now, adding a minimization of traffic is easy to add here because we just define this as the halting condition. Whenever we move a file from one volume to another, we keep track of the amount of transfer that would require. And then when we're out of the traffic allowance that we have, we just stop the algorithm. But notice that the system might become highly unbalanced. So every once in a while, we have to do a step that will transfer a file. Let's go back. Transfer a file from a large volume to a small volume just to equalize their sizes. And the key challenge here is how to alternate between the two steps, because we don't want to find ourselves spending all of our traffic allowance only on one of the goals. We have to balance between the two. So how exactly we do that and how we keep the traffic constraint as well, this is all described in detail in the paper. Our second approach, like I said, is slightly more complicated, more sophisticated. We're using a clustering-based approach. So again, we iteratively group together files that are similar into clusters until we have a number of clusters that's equal to the number of volumes, and then we assign a cluster to each of the volumes. So since the system size is our main goal, our similarity measure is the ratio of blocks that are shared between two files. This is actually the well-known Yadgar similarity metric, and we use this to group together files that have similar content. But again, if we only do that, we might find ourselves moving all the files from between volumes in the system. So we have to have another metric that takes into account the location of the files. And here, if the original files are on the same volume, then we'll say they're similar. And if they're located on different volumes, we'll treat them as different. And the actual metric that we used for clustering was a weighted combination of these two metrics. Again, we also have to maintain the balancing of the sizes. And here we just define artificially the maximum cluster size. And once we reach a maximum of this size, we stop adding files to the cluster. And then we make sure that we have clusters of sizes that manage the system's load balancing. Of course, we need to take care of the weight of the two metrics. And we have to make sure that the algorithm doesn't get stuck because we reached a maximum size. And like before, all the details are in the paper. The third approach, like I said, is the most complicated one. We're using the basic idea and observations presented here, again, 2 years ago, where 2 years ago, the study showed that even the very, very simplest case of data migration with just 2 volumes where one of them is empty is an NP-hard problem. So what they did was translate the system's instance into an integer linear programming instance, gave it to a commercial solver, and then translated the solution into a migration plan. So we're following the same approach. Basically, we have all the solution space. We're looking for the optimal one. But if the solver doesn't have enough time, because, like I said, it's an NP-hard problem, then we will get one of the feasible or legal solutions, hopefully close enough to the optimal one. So unlike this simple case that was solved 2 years ago, our problem now is much more complicated because we have the 3 conflicting objectives. And our solution to this here was to use, like I said, the minimization of the system size as the optimization goal for the solver, and then traffic and load balancing are formulated as linear constraints. The problem itself is much more complicated. We have many types of constraints, which you can read about in the paper. So we want to compare the 3, like I said. We used different system snapshots taken from 3 different sources. So one is the Microsoft employee workstations from the UBC dataset. One is the weekly backups of Linux users from the File Systems Lab at Stony Brook. And the third are Linux kernel versions from the Linux archive. Each of those datasets have a different number of files. And when I talk about a file here, I refer to an entire file system. This is our migration unit. We have different numbers of volumes and different sizes in terms of the number of blocks and the deduplication ratio. You'll see more details about this in the paper, of course. Now, what we did is we created a sample from each of those data sets that takes into account only a subset of the fingerprint space. This is the same that was done in previous studies similar to this one. We generate the migration plan on this sample, but then we apply it to the full system, and we evaluate, the results are evaluated on the full system. So we did many experiments, of course, many parameters, several more systems. I'll just show you 2 examples just to get the idea of what we learned. So the most interesting thing is how much are we able to reduce the system size. We see on the x-axis here the different systems. The y-axis is the reduction in system size, just the percentage of the physical size of the system that we were able to delete. So higher is better. And we have bars for the 3 different schemes, but notice that we have 2 bars for each scheme. There's the one that I told you about, the full scheme, but also a more relaxed version of each approach where we remove the load balancing requirements. We did that just to see how much these requirements really prevent us from reaching the minimum size for the system. And the most obvious thing from the results are that the clustering and ILP approach are pretty much comparable. So sometimes this is because clustering was just able to find the optimal solution. And sometimes this is because the ILP solver timed out. These are the red axes that you see here. Still in the more complicated workload, the hardest workload was the Microsoft workload. The ILP achieved much better results. And in all of these cases, the greedy results are far behind, pretty much as we expected. Another thing that we see here is that the load balancing constraint prevents us from deleting more percentage of the system, in some cases more than in others. And what we don't see here, but you can see the full results in the paper, is that when we remove the load balancing constraint, we end up with many, either one or several empty volumes or nearly empty volumes, which, like I said originally, defeats the purpose of distributing the storage. The other side of this evaluation, of this comparison, is of course the runtime, which is the metric for the approach's complexity. So we see the same systems here with the same algorithms. The y-axis is now the runtime, and notice that it's in log scale. So the red bar on the top, that's the 6-hour time limit that we set for the ILP solver, and we see that ILP indeed reaches this timeout in quite a few of the cases. The hierarchical clustering is not as fast, but still faster than ILP. But here we have to keep in mind that we're actually running several instances of the clustering algorithm, take care of randomization and various margins for the load balancing. So this is configurable. Like we expected, greedy is the fastest by several orders of magnitude. It can provide a solution, a full migration plan in a matter of seconds in the systems that we experimented with. Another thing we see here is that the load balancing constraint adds much complexity to the system. So when we remove this constraint, these are the striped bars, we see that both ILP and clustering approaches become much faster and much simpler. For the greedy, it's the other way around, because if we remove this constraint, we actually give the greedy approach more options in each of the iterations, and so these take longer. But in general, load balancing, which we certainly need in order to keep our system feasible, is something that adds much complexity to the system. So to conclude, file migration in the duplicated storage is hard. It's a hard problem. It's not becoming easier. We have on one side the very simple greedy approach, which provides very quick solutions, but these are also the least effective ones. On the other side, the ILP-based approach, which provides optimal or near-optimal solutions, takes a lot of time, but for the hard cases, it also provides a much better solution. And in between of them, we have the hierarchical clustering approach, which is much more configurable, often reaches solutions which are very close to the optimal. So this seems like a good way to go for all the cases that are not completely trivial. The next thing we plan to do is apply this to a system that's running, where files are changing as long as we go. But this is for next time, and for now, I'm happy to take your questions.